The development of officialdom, with its close relation to finance, is thus only a symptom of the trend towards centralization. Feudal administration was decentralized, and the interest of the vassal with his distant landed property separated him from the central power, whereas regular money payments draw the officials toward the central power, and continually reaffirm his dependence. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Sublime Porte, as a result of the continuous debasement of the currency, was obliged to mint coins of double weight for the officials and officers, because it was precisely in its relations with state officials that money of full value was needed. The tremendous growth and differentiation of the civil service became possible only through a money economy. It is, however, only one symptom of the relation that exists between money and the objectification of group cohesion in a special central institution. In Greek culture, this relation was represented not by political, but by religious, unity. All Greek money was once sacred, it emanated from the priesthood, as did other generally valid concepts of measure, referring to weight, size, and time. This priesthood represented at the same time the unity of the various regions. The earliest associations developed on a religious basis, and in some cases they covered relatively large areas. The shrines had a non-particularistic centralizing significance, and money expressed this by bearing the symbol of the common God. The religious social unity, crystallized in the temple, became active again through the money that was put into circulation, and money acquired a basis and a function far beyond the significance of the metal content of the individual coin. Supported by, and supporting, these sociological constellations, the function of money grew in significance at the expense of its substance. A few examples and reflections will make this process clear. Among the many services of money, I will mention here only the facilitation of trade, the stability of the standard of value, the mobilization of values and the acceleration of circulation, and the distillation of values in a concentrated form. I would like to emphasize, by way of introduction, that the debasement of the coinage by the sovereign, which I discussed earlier, reveals most clearly, through its defrauding of the masses, the significance of the functional value of money in contrast with its value as metal. What motivated the subjects to accept base coin and to give substantially better coin in exchange was the fact that the former fulfilled the exchange purpose of money. The lords of the mint extorted a disproportionately high recompense for the functional value of money, for the sake of which their subjects had to agree to the exchange of coins, that is to sacrifice the value of the metal. But this only exemplifies the very general phenomenon that money, which by its form serves trade better than anything else, is not superior only by virtue of its material, since it can also transcend the significance of its own material, as in the following case. In 1621, when the value of the Reichsthaler rose from 48 to 54 shillings as a result of the debasement of the currency in Lower Germany, the authorities of Holstein, Pomerania, Lübeck, Hamburg and other areas issued a decree according to which the Reichsthaler should, from a certain date, be worth only 40 shillings. Although this was generally regarded and accepted as being fair and sensible, the Reichsthaler continued to be worth 48 shillings, because this was more convenient for division and reckoning. At a more advanced and complicated stage, the same thing may happen when bonds are issued in large and small denominations. The stock exchange quotes the latter at a higher price because they are more in demand and serve transactions in small amounts better, although the value pro rata is exactly the same. Indeed, a committee on the currency in the American colonies stated in 1749 that in countries with an undeveloped economy which consume more than they produce, money should always be of lesser value than that of their wealthier neighbors, since otherwise it would inevitably flow out to these countries. This case illustrates in an accentuated way the fact mentioned previously, that the suitability of a particular form of money for calculation and settling accounts creates a value for this form that is deliberately raised above the actually valid price. The functional value of money has here outgrown its material value to the point of reversing their significance. We may take as examples of the increase in the functional value as compared with the material value those cases in which inferior coins maintain a scarcely credible price in relation to precious metals. This happens for instance in gold mining districts, where the wealth acquired stimulates vigorous trading, but cash is lacking for everyday transactions. Among the gold miners in Brazil, a need for small cash developed at the end of the 17th century, which the King of Portugal exploited by supplying silver money in exchange for tremendous sums in gold. Subsequently, in California and Australia, it also happened that gold miners had to pay between twice and 16 times the real value in gold in order to acquire small change. The worst phenomena of this kind are shown by the currency conditions that prevailed until recently in Turkey, but that are now being changed. No nickel or copper money existed, all small change consisted of a wretched silver alloy, altalics, bechlics, and metalliques, the supply of which was totally inadequate. In consequence, the value of these coins, which the government nominally reduced in 1880 by about 50%, has remained unchanged, and the coins are exchanged at parity with gold, the metalliques, indeed, which are regarded as one of the worst money tokens in the whole world, sometimes rise above parity with gold. This is extremely characteristic. The smallest coin is the most important for exchange and is valued accordingly, so that these small coins are always the first to be debased. The price of metalliques illustrates the paradox that a coin may be more valuable the less valuable it is, because the lack of material value makes it suitable for certain functional purposes by which its value may be increased almost indefinitely. The objections to a silver standard are based upon the increasing recognition and the growing role of the functional significance of money, namely, that convenience in handling is the primary requirement of money. A foodstuff may be retained even though its use is inconvenient, so long as it is nutritious and enjoyable, and an uncomfortable dress may be kept because it is beautiful or warm, but inconvenient money is like unpalatable food or an unbecoming dress, since its main purpose is to provide a convenient means for the exchange of goods. Its difference from other goods arises from the fact that it has, and should have, fewer secondary qualities aside from its principal quality,